Hello, Awesome Soul here. And no, this is not the same video from last time. This is a completely different video focusing on what you, yes you, the viewer, are actually wanting in Robocraft. So, of course, last video was all about what I wanted, and looking at the comments, I got a lot of comments, a lot more than I usually do. So thank you all for that. So what I have done is I have gone through all of them, picked out a few that sort of showed up multiple times and or were decently interesting. And of course I figured I would go through them and give you my thoughts. So to start out this list is something that I'm sure pretty much everyone in the Robocraft community has seen at some point. Back in the day when this video first came out, it was pretty much guaranteed if you went on the Robocraft forums to see this thing posted as a new thread at least twice a day. And that, of course, is the rotating platforms concept. The video that now has like a bazillion views on it. But not really, but for a Robocraft related video, this thing has an insane amount of views. If I remember, I will link it in the description. But in the odd chance that you don't know what this is, basically think of it as a giant tank gun. So you could make the bottom half of a tank, you could slap a rotating platform there, and then build your tank cannon on top. And then the tank cannon would rotate just like a regular gun in the game, where you aimed your mouse, the whole top half of your bot would aim in that direction. Now personally, this is something that I really want in the game, and I'm pretty sure the entire community really wants this in the game as well. Now, the reason I didn't put this on my list is because, sadly, I don't think this will ever actually make it into the game. FreeJam have talked about this on numerous occasions, and the main problem here seems to be lag problems, and possible glitches, of course. But the engine they're using isn't built for this kind of thing, I would assume. Because we would be hearing a lot more about it if they actually thought they could do this into the game and not mess things up as far as, the general overall experience goes. Because the video, like I said, is sitting at a very high view count, and it's been shared a lot on the forums and Reddit and all that jazz. So, chances are this is something we won't be seeing, in my personal opinion, anyway. I'd love to be proven wrong, though, don't get me wrong. Next up is, well, I think I'll let Box handle this one.
Get ready. Undo button!
Thanks, Noob. Appreciate the help. And while we're at it, on the topic of buttons, a reconnect button is also needed. This is something that I actually did touch on as a little bonus content in my last video. Or a bonus point, rather. Pretty self-explanatory here. If you disconnect, you can hit reconnect and join the game. I don't really need to say much else. This is something that has been promised from FreeJam to be in the works for like 3 years. Ever since the game came out, people have wanted one. So hopefully we do get one at some point. Anyways, Megabots are also something that a fair amount of people posted in the comment section. And yeah, I can see why. Although, personally, I'm okay with Megabots not being in the game. For those that actually remember the experience of playing with Megabots and aren't just looking at it with rose-tinted glasses, you'll know that the whole experience was very limiting to anyone who wasn't a Megabot. How the game went back then was, if you had a Megabot that was good, and the enemy had a Megabot that was bad, you were pretty much guaranteed a win, no matter what. It was all about defend the Megabot, stand behind the Megabot, use the Megabot for cover. All the healers would heal the Megabot, so if you wanted to go off on a platoon, people would yell at the healers, "What are you doing? Heal the Megabot, protect the Megabot." Everything was around the Megabot. You would just have a swarm of tiny little ants following around the Megabot, and that wasn't fun. At least to me personally. The gameplay we have now, where everyone can contribute and actually win and get kills, that's a whole lot better than just one player on each team really being the linchpin here. However, when it comes to boss battles, that is something I would want Megabots back for. That was the one thing that I did like about Megabots. Unfortunately, though, that game mode was a little bit flawed. Hopefully, if we get megabots back for custom games, which is kind of what FreeJam was considering but not confirmed there. I would love to have a boss battle mode come back as well. No megabots in the main modes, just specifically boss battle or custom modes. At least that's what I personally feel megabots would be good for. A few people also elaborated on insect legs from the point that I brought up in my video. Some people wanted shields on the insect legs, but really? Shields? Even after the point where I say shields are bad? Yeah, you kind of see a bit of a problem there. I think maybe if electroplates were actually good, maybe after the rework, strap some built-in electroplates onto the insect legs to buff them up a bit, or the easy way, just give them more health. Let's just go with that one. Of course, if you wanted to buy those legs, you would need money. And one thing other people want is to bring back money after each match. Other people wanted to completely scrap the crates and just have a money-based system like we used to have. I personally don't want that to happen. I know a lot of people don't like the crates and other people are just sort of indifferent to the crates. That's kind of my opinion. I'm sort of indifferent to them. But I don't really want any more massive, huge, just like ripping chunks of the game out and slapping new chunks of game in. That's how we got the crate system, and just the whole adjustment period for that was a bit ridiculous. And the fact that they're now in beta, FreeJam have said that they don't want to change the game in any massive ways. They want to add features, not take out features and stick new features in their place. But the system they have sort of proposed is just giving money in crates, so you can randomly get Robits in crates. Instead of parts, you would just get a bundle of cash. It's not too bad, but it's not exactly what people in the comment section are wanting. But we'll have to wait and see what they do with the whole Robit thing. Will they do the crate thing, or will they take the feedback from some people and just give it after the match, depending on how your performance is? Mind you, that way it wouldn't really fit with their current economy model, but oh well. You gotta take what you can get. Here's an idea that FreeJam have actually put out in the past, and that is the ability to take multiple bots into battle. So, about 2 to 3 bots, possibly, as your sort of backup squad. So if one bot dies, you can bring one bot in, or if you're in the main game modes and not elimination, you could swap one bot if you die, and you got the respawn timer, it'll pop up a little window saying, swap to this bot. And that would be good and bad, because it is really cool to have, like, a dedicated squad. And, okay, this is my squad, I am going to build my strategies around this. So we've got a flak bot, maybe it would be best for me, with my disc shield, to fall around this flak bot and defend them. With this kind of system, you're constantly having to change up your strategy on the fly. And if you don't have a party, which a lot of people do, a lot of people just go in randomly, that's going to cause a lot of problems when it comes to getting a strategy going. Because as a solo player, you can kind of get an idea of how other people are going to play by looking at their bot. But if they're constantly changing their bot throughout the match, that's gonna cause a bit of problems and throw your whole strategy for a loop. Of course, enemies are also gonna have this ability. So if you are flak and you're like, hell yeah, I'm scoring tons and tons of kills, I am so useful as a flak unit for once, I'm actually facing air units, because believe me, I've gotten in a few matches as a flak bot against no air units, it's no fun. But of course, with this system, when you're wrecking shop and you can't switch bots because, you haven't died, eventually all the targets you kill are gonna get fed up of being flacked and just go ground bots. And then you're gonna be all sad. So, I don't know. I personally don't want this system, though I do know that the majority actually want this system. Another thing that FreeJam have tweeted out before, but haven't actually followed through on, are more cube variants. Rick actually tweeted out a long time ago, I want to say like a year ago, a screenshot of actual models. Like, these things were already modeled and ready to go in the game, it looked like, of like 2x1 cubes and a whole bunch of weird and wacky shapes that looked really great for builders. Unfortunately, we didn't get them in the game and haven't heard any news on them since. Also, it would be nice to have the weighted cubes come back. They're not going to be quite as useful as they once were, but I'm sure a few people would actually like to have them. Also, I am aware that I did forget skis when I was talking about the bad movement parts, but I think this comment pretty much sums it up. Another comment I made was electroplates and how they weren't very good. It seems like most people want a fast regeneration and basically always on electroplates, so they're always regenerating, but of course have a lower health pool. Now personally, I think their health pool right now actually would be good as an always on, always recharging electroplate, because they're not really that tanky, especially for the CPU you're spending on them and the massive target that they are. So yeah, it could be kind of cool. Could this be a little overpowered? Maybe. But of course, I'm sure FreeJam would test this and balance this to make sure it's not overpowered. That's the hope, anyway. This one was by a certain user, a fractional painting system. If you actually go back to my really old concept video, the painting video, this was before painting was actually in the game, I proposed a system pretty much like this. So you could paint any face, you could paint multiple colors onto your movement types. So you could have like one color and two colors for every part you had. And not only that, this was back when tiers were a thing. So I was proposing that each tiered armor would have a different texture to it. I still would love to see textures in the game and a possible toggle system in your settings for a removal of the, I guess, the Lego brick style that we have in the game, making it so you're actually looking at one solid chunk of armor. And with a textured system, the bots would look a lot more realistic and not just like little Lego creations. Then again, that would completely change up the whole aesthetic look of the game drastically. And I'm not sure that's kind of what FreeJam want, because they have built their brand on a certain look, and if they change that too much, then people might be confused. They're like, oh, this isn't Robocraft, that's not what I'm looking for, I'll just move on and go elsewhere on their search for, Robocraft related content or images or what have you. I don't know, hopefully you get what I'm getting at. Next one, we have a bit of a double header here. We have a energy regen / transfer mode for the nanos, and then another comment was a damage boost function for the nanos. So instead of my medic drop kit idea, they would go with these ones. The names are fairly self-explanatory. I would like some sort of energy transfer support tool, and as a secondary for the nano, I could see that. As far as damage boosting goes, yeah, that could be pretty cool, but if my Guardian Legs idea ever makes it into the game, that whole damage boost function from there would kind of be cool as like the sole way to get a damage boost in the game. But if not, a damage boost would also be pretty cool for nanos. And last but not least, re-adding the old Battle Arena, aka the one with the towers in it, as an option for custom games. Although, in the comment, they didn't really specify as an option for custom games, but personally, I don't ever see regular Battle Arena coming back, at least to the main roster. But as far as custom games go, yeah, I could totally see that, and that would be pretty fun. But for me personally, I do prefer the new Battle Arena, although it still does have a few kinks that need to be ironed out. Before I end out the video, I did notice that there were a lot of comments about specific parts and new parts that you wanted in the game. I didn't add that to this list because this was more about features I'd like to see in the game, not really new parts. I might do a video on that soon, but who knows, because mainly I'd like to keep those for concept videos, and I only have so many concept videos, and basically I would be reading off my own concept videos, and that would be kind of boring as a video. So I don't know, maybe I'll find an interesting way to do that, but if not, well, I'm sure you'll live without it. Now, it is time to wrap up the video. As I have addressed before, the ones who stick around all the way to the very end are, of course, the most dedicated of my fans, and I appreciate that. A little while back, you will most likely remember I did a video discussing the idea of starting a Patreon, and all of the comments were very much positive towards that idea, so I have added a Patreon page. Of course, Patreon is basically a little tip jar that you can pledge a certain amount of money and get certain rewards. So if you click the link at the end card, you will be taken to the page where you can check out the little perks that you get for becoming one of my patrons. There are currently 4 tiers, but I'll probably do a solo standalone video for my Patreon page. Because again, not everyone watches all the way to the very end. But anyways guys, I thank you all so very much for watching and the overwhelming support that I've been getting recently. I've been getting a flood of subscribers and a huge amount of views. Hopefully this will keep up, fingers crossed. But anyways, I of course have been the Awesome Soul. I thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.